I don't know if it's just me, but I've always been very interested in roller coasters. Not much riding them, but rather making them. Being able to customize an entire roller coaster, adding whatever twists and turns you want, seems pretty surreal to me. So you can imagine the bliss of happiness I felt upon seeing rails, powered rails, and minecarts in the Minecraft creative menu. Happiness that plummeted within minutes upon seeing the limitations vanilla coasters have. You are literally limited to 8 blocks per hour. Okay, I know there's a method involving normal rails that look like this, but come on, who wants the roller coaster to look like this? You can't even control the slope of the drops, and worst of all, there's no loops. Ever since then, I've kind of given up on building roller coasters, but a part of me still wanted to create this dream. Then I found something, like a needle in a haystack, like finding the perfect YouTube video to watch while eating your dinner. The Minecraft mod, Spline Cards. I'm being honest, I kind of just found this mod, saw a few pictures, and then just downloaded it. Okay, no, but like look at this. There's like actual fast minecarts, the drops are actually arched, and there's like real loops, bro, like come on. But in all seriousness, I actually didn't know anything about the mod other than the pictures I've seen. So for all I know, the mod could literally be absolute garbage.
Spoiler alert, it wasn't.
But I low-key hate YouTubers that take the average lifespan of an elephant to get into their videos, so without further ado, let's get started. Okay, let me explain what's gonna happen first. I'm gonna boot up a creative world and make a roller coaster. However, like I said before, I know literally nothing about this mod, so I'm gonna have to learn the ins and outs of it as the video progresses. Usually when I do something like this on my own, I'd search up tutorials on how to do things, but to make this more interesting, I can't use any outside help, meaning no googling or watching tutorials. I'm also gonna split the video into 3 chunks. The first one is mainly going to be learning how to use the mod. The second session will be fully focused on making the coolest coaster possible. This means I can use Google for inspiration, as I'm trying to make the best coaster possible. Finally, with all the experience I've gathered, I'll make my own dream roller coaster. As soon as I loaded in, I immediately put all the items from the mod in my inventory. And I tried to make something that works, and okay, I can't lie, this footage is hard to watch with how bad I was at the time. But anyway, I eventually figured out how to actually make minecarts move. It was all due to the track tool. This tool lets me connect 2 ends to create a full track, which was a pretty baller discovery. Next, I tried my hand at vertical lifts, which were actually pretty similar to normal tracks. Instead, you use a chain lift tool to connect the tracks. Simple enough, right? Well, I tried, and it didn't work. Well, this was an issue I didn't realize until later on in the session, but the direction of the track matters. One problem, I didn't know how to determine the direction of the tracks. So, the rest of the session is me just trying to figure out why the tracks are breaking the literal 4th dimension. Anyway, I spent a decent amount of time just messing around with the vertical tracks, trying to find a way that worked. Eventually though, by luck, I was able to get one that worked. Next, after completing the lift, I worked on a basic turn with some struggle. Well, eventually I was able to fix all the issues. Anyway, now that I had fixed all the problems, I was going to work on a corkscrew. If you don't know what that is, it's basically just a type of inversion that results. And it was actually pretty easy. Aside from the issues of the direction of the tracks and me just being dumb, I was able to do this pretty easily. I mean, look how smooth it is. Next, I decided to test out accelerating tracks. These tracks basically make the cart either speed up or slow down, which is crucial for controlling the speed of your cart. I was able to get the science of it down pretty easily. Redstone torch speeds up, no torch slows the cart down. After learning how accelerating tracks worked, I decided to switch out the corkscrews, which are the normal tracks, for these new tracks for, speed. Now that I had finished putting in the accelerating tracks, I chose to make a final incline leading up to the drop. I decided to opt for this. Once the incline was finished, I made a log tower heading straight down since I want to make one that goes, well, straight down. Now that the drop was finished, I made another accelerating track to finish off the roller coaster. So it's all done, right? Okay, maybe some simple repairs. Well, yeah, the repairs ended up taking a hot minute to fix since there were many small errors I made throughout the making of the coaster. Here are a few examples. Anyway, with that out of the way, here's the full roller coaster. And that's the end of the first session. Here's an overlook of the coaster, and honestly, it's not that bad for a first timer like me. However, there's a lot to improve on and a lot of things I can make better. So hopefully the second session will be able to fix these things. Just a refresher, the second session is about making the best coaster possible by using inspiration from the internet. So without further ado, let's see the second session. Hold on 1 second. I just want to ask you to subscribe. Now, I could list all the reasons why you should, but I think it's better to let you decide whether or not you like the video, and if you happen to like it, you could slide the sub, that would be great. But let's just get back to the video. So I sort of forgot to click record when making the roller coaster, and I don't feel like re-recording it, so I'm just gonna use replay shots for the entire part. Anyway, for this session, I literally just asked ChatGPT to make me the best roller coaster possible and just copied that into Minecraft. And ChatGPT's first idea is a 0 to top speed instantly. So I built a long powered redstone track, and I'm not really sure if the length makes it faster, but who really cares? After that, ChatGPT wanted an incline straight up, which was pretty easy if I'm gonna be honest. It also wanted whatever this meant, which I still really don't understand what it means by rolling back slightly. So I just made a line going straight forward that slowly goes up, and I think it looks okay. That actually relates to the next point, which ChatGPT says the roller coaster should launch straight into a tall hill, and something with a top hat, I'm not really sure about that. Then ChatGPT calls for a drop that twists and goes straight down, and I decided to make it go into the mountains since I thought it'd be kind of cool to have like a cave theme, you know? ChatGPT also said something about some like elite feeling, which it's like kind of seems pretty cool to me, you know? Now we need to add some turns that go beyond sideways somehow, like, I don't know. I mean, this looks beyond sideways to me, so we're just gonna go with it. Now we're going upside down, and get this, we're hanging there. Anyway, back to the time lapses, and this is what I came up with. I know, I really don't. Now, we're speeding up with these sharp turns that literally launch you out of your seat. This looks good enough, right? So now we need a sequence. ChatGPT's example is a corkscrew into an Iron Man. Yeah, that says Iron Man, bro. Okay, it's actually some kind of like physics thing, I'm pretty sure, so like, I'm just gonna recreate this. Look, I'm not even gonna try and recreate this, so I'm just gonna make a drop. Okay, this is something I can do. Now, ChatGPT wants a dive loop that goes close to the ground, which I'll finish with at the end of the coaster. And finally, we have bunny hops, which are just mini hills towards the end of the coaster, which are all very fun. Now, to finish off the coaster, we have a drop near the bottom, and that wraps everything up. Well, after adding a few finishing touches and fixing some bugs, but like no one literally cares about that. But hold on, doesn't the lava look kinda nice? Anyway, now let's test ride the roller coaster. Now, that's the second session done, and the roller coaster was pretty cool. It had some nice features, and I'm pretty proud of how it went. But with it over now, comes the third part of the video, which is me making my own roller coaster without any outside help. This part of the video was going to be my favorite, as I was able to make whatever I wanted. It's important to note though, at this point, I was getting pretty bored of making the video. I wasn't motivated to continue working on the project, however, I knew I had to finish this video. Not for YouTube or anything, but for myself. Not completing this journey that's taken over months to create, mainly out of laziness, would make me sad. So with that, I present you the third and last session of this video.